Alright, what is up, boys and girls? Welcome back to another video on liquidity, supply and demand. As always, thank you very much for joining me. Please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I've been trading this strategy now, 80% win rate strategy over the last 5 or 6 months, and it's been doing absolute bits for me, to be honest. The V-shaped recovery strategy that's been doing the rounds, I think 3 or 4 different people in the trading space have been talking about this trading strategy. One of them was Dodgy, which is the one that I saw it from, but I've seen some other people mentioning it as well, and I have been trading this myself. And I've put my own personal spin on it as well, and it's been absolutely incredible for me, to be honest. I've been getting it, as I said, around an 80% win rate with a bunch of really big wins as well, with potential trades that just run and run and run to really, really big take profits in the end, just because of how powerful this strategy is and basically how the market moves. I've learned a lot about how actually the market moves, and it's been incredible to see how well this strategy has been performing for me. So I did just want to do a video here where basically I'll go over the strategy, and then I'll give you some examples recently. I can already see one on the charts right here, but I'll basically go over the strategy first, and then I'll go and show some examples of what we're doing. If you would like signals or alerts for this, by the way, you can sign up to the private Discord that I am now running in the description. It's only $30 a month, and you'll get access to daily signals for this on gold and on NQ, on NASDAQ 100 hit futures, as you can see. And you'll basically get some ideas of how the trade works, how the strategy works, how I personally trade it. And you'll get alerts as well of potential trades that I take as well. So basically I'm going to show you the strategy, and then we are going to go onto the charts and find some examples and show them exactly how I would trade them, etc. So basically the strategy is, you've got your market, NASDAQ 100 futures here, NQU, that we're currently swapped over onto the new contract. You've got your market, you're going like this. You're forming some pretty clear swing points, and basically this is the V-shaped recovery strategy. So you're looking for a V shape to the downside that recovers back to the upside. You can see you've got a very clear swing point here that we can come down and target. You basically be looking for something like this. You come down, you get that nice sweep of liquidity below this level, and then you'd be looking for a really, really nice V shape back up in around 3, 4, 5 candles back to the upside ideally. And then once you see price starting to come back up, you're looking for a nice inverted fair value gap to enter your position on. Preferably you want to be delivering out of a nice big fair value gap to the side as well. So say, for example, you drop down into a nice big void or a nice big space to the side, start to bounce back up. That would be a good sign that you're probably going to get a decent entry for this model. And then basically what you'd be looking for is a close above an inverted fair value gap here. So obviously you're coming down with lots of momentum. You're creating big gaps in the market here. And then you want to see these getting closed back above pretty quickly, which shows that we've basically swept liquidity, and then we're going to come back up and continue upwards most likely. This is the premise behind the strategy. So basically what you'd be looking for is a close back above your inverted fair value gap here. You'd enter looking for a 1-to-1. Your stop loss would be a manual close, a manual stop loss with a candle closing back below the inverted fair value gap here. If that was the case, I would close the trade, because you're most likely going to come back to the low and continue down if you do close back below this inverted fair value gap. But generally what you're looking for is this. And then basically you'd be looking to target a 1-for-1 for your first take profit, something like this. And then you'd be looking to basically target some of these internal swing points for some of your runners. So I'd take half my position off at 1-for-1, but the rest to break even. And then I'd have the rest of it running up to about halfway up the recent move. And then I'd usually look for the high of day, or as we are at the minute, all-time highs. This has been working really, really well for me recently. And this is basically the strategy. You take a 1-for-1 on your first position. Say you enter here, your stop loss is below, 1-for-1, and then you're looking basically to take half your position off at 1-for-1, which lines up lovely with this internal swing high here. You go break even, and then you let the rest run to either break even or some of these further take profits. And that's the strategy. Very, very simple stuff. You can see it's very, very simple and easy to see as well, easy to understand, which I think is why I had so much success with it, to be honest, is because I've basically found it quite easy to understand and easy to apply. These are really quite obvious to see. If I go back, let me just undo all of this. If I go on the 5-minute chart here and just go on NQ and zoom out, you can see already, if you just eyeball this chart from far away, you can see there's a bunch of examples of trades. These are actually trades I've taken recently as well, where you've had these kind of V-shaped recoveries to the upside, and most of them, pretty much all of them, have recovered. Some of them have been break evens, and some of them have been basically like 1R plus break even. But right now you can see, if you look at this chart, that there is plenty of opportunities and plenty of examples of this happening all the time. I've had loads and loads of trades recently which have worked really well. And this is a strategy that is pretty ubiquitous. I do tend to see at least 1 or 2 setups a day, which is really, really good because it means you don't have to wait too long for the setups. But I do like to wait for the high quality ones. But anyway, I'll show you a few examples of some trades that I've taken recently so you can get an idea of the strategy. There was actually one this morning potentially here. Let me just have a quick look on the 1 minute. You can see we've got this accumulation. We're going sideways just like I showed you at the start of the video. We've got this very clear swing point down here that we can come down and inverse. You can see we came down, swept the liquidity here. Not as clean as I would have liked, just because you can see we've kind of grinded back up rather than getting that clear V shape that you'd be looking for. But you can see there is a pretty clear inverted fair value gap here that you could potentially have taken if you wanted to. You can see that we did eventually come up and close above this. So you would have set your 1 for 1. Stop loss down here, take profit here. It's would have gone sideways for a while, but obviously as you can see, eventually would have come up, hit your 1 for 1. You would have gone break even there, and then you would have set your runners. On this one, I've had a runner here and then probably get out of the whole position at the high. Because you can see this is a pretty obvious area where you're probably going to start reversing from. And you can see this trade would have worked to absolute perfection. Over the space of around half an hour, this would have played out. Really, really clean liquidity sweep. Not the best V-shape, but still pretty V-shaped here. You probably could have taken the 2 minute, although your entry probably would have been worse. The V-shape would have been better, but the entry would have been worse. You could have seen, if you have a look here, there was a 5 minute or a 3 minute. So because this works on all time frames, it doesn't have to be the 1 minute, but you can see here, you probably could have taken this 3 minute if you wanted to wait for a clear confirmation. So you get the V shape here, you kind of came back, tapped that previous fair value gap. This one would have also worked, as you can see, pretty much ran up in the space of 10 minutes up to the take profit. But not the cleanest trade, but obviously an example of that there are some trades that you can take on this every day. You've just got to use your intuition. You've obviously got your clean liquidity sweep, not the best reversal back up, but this still would have worked. There was some pretty interesting trades yesterday. If we take a look on the 1 minute here, quite a lot of big swingy, choppy price action yesterday for NQ, but there was a pretty good trade here. If we take a look, let's take a look at what we're looking at. So we came down. This wasn't the most textbook trade, but you can see we've got the clean liquidity sweep here. And then we came down again. We were forming fair value gaps, but none of them got inverted. But you can see we actually came all the way down and swept all the way through all these levels here, all the way down to this one, which was a crazy, crazy pullback. We were kind of going down, quite a bearish market structure to be fair, but then we got this really nice fair value gap back to the upside. We take a quick look at this one here on the 1 minute. This was a pretty clean setup. You can see we finally got the close above, although we did run quite far away from where I'd probably want to be entering, which was somewhere here. But you definitely could have taken this 1 minute. And as you can see, this was actually a trade that I took yesterday, by the way, on my Apex accounts for futures trading. You can see this would have worked out in the space of 2 minutes, come up, hit the first take profit, or you could have taken profit at the first swing high here and then gone break even, take the second take profit at the next swing high, which was here. And then this almost hit my final take profit, which would have been up at these massive amounts of stacked highs up here. But then we had a little bit of a pullback, and then Trump decided to open his mouth, and then it came down and got stopped at the final position at break even, as you can see. But overall, a pretty decent trade, which was totally fine. And then we actually came down and lo and behold, swept the next low, as you can see. We swept liquidity down below again and started to V-shape back up here. There were some potential trades that you could have taken. You can see here, this was another trade that I took. I think it was this 1 minute. You entered here. And then I actually decided to go break even on this one just because we'd already moved so much. I had the feeling that if Trump spoke again, I didn't want to get a massive, massive loss on the cards, because you can see how big the market moved. Like what we're looking at here, 50 points on one 1 minute candle. So I didn't want to get a crazy loss on the cards just because I was being a bit unsafe by not having a stop loss after Trump started opening his mouth. So we basically entered here, or it might have been the 3 minute actually. I think it was this 3 minute that I entered on. It's the same as the 1 minute. You can see we came up and we hit this internal swing high. If I go back to the chart, you can see we came up and we hit this internal swing high here, and then we started to go sideways. And I was thinking, if this is going to run up to the high, it's going to do it pretty much instantly. So I went to break even, and you can see I got stop break even on this. So I didn't take any profit on this because I didn't get to a 1-to-1. Obviously, the stop loss on this one was absolutely massive as well. So I was being a bit more cautious. Obviously, if we ran to this high, I probably just would have been all out there. But I did go to break even because I did think, well, I'm not really sure what's going to happen next. And then obviously we come down. We came down and we actually sweat the lunch low. Let me look at, I'm sure there was another trade that I took on this crazy sequence of swings that we took here. I think it might have been one of these potentially. Or was it here? I think it might have been here. It was further on by the looks of things, yeah. So here, as you can see, let me remove all the drawings because this is getting a bit confusing already. But you can see we came up, we finally took that high. We took all those stacked highs out. We came down, we formed a pretty decent swing low here. We obviously accumulate for a while, going sideways. We come down, we steal the low, as you can see. And then I was looking for this V-shape back up. We didn't get the cleanest move back to the upside. We did get this 2-minute though. I think it was this 2-minute that I took potentially, yeah. I think it was this. It was either the 2-minute or the 1-minute. But either way, you can see the premise, right? We come down, we sweep liquidity. We're looking for that V-shape back up. We get it in 5 or 6 candles. It's not the cleanest setup. But you could have potentially taken, I think it was the 2-minute that I took. Yeah, I think it was this. Because I figured we'd probably go back at least to the high. You can see here, let me have a quick look. 1 for 1. This actually worked out in the space of around 10 minutes. And then I got break evened on the rest of the position. That was probably what happened, I think. I was quite busy yesterday, so I was kind of trading these on and off. But you can see there was some very, very good setups there, very, very good potential. As always, this trading strategy every day does give us potential examples. I mean, you can just look across all of these charts. You can see all these potential trades and how many good ones that there potentially was. All the time these trading setups are happening, and I do urge you to go check out the strategy and basically have a little go for yourself. Go and basically back test and take a look and see what you think. Please do like the video and subscribe. I'm going to leave it there because I don't want to waffle on for too long, but you can see the potential here. If you do want to get alerts and signals for this strategy, you can join my private Discord in the link in the description below. I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.